Well, g'day guys, welcome back to the Boomerang Biker channel. Quite an exciting day today. Finally getting around to coming down to the Great Ocean Road, as hopefully you'll be able to see. We got smashed by a heavy downpour on the way, but it only lasted a couple of minutes. So we stopped for a little bit of a breakfast, and we've dried out now. So there's three of us on this trip today. We've got my buddy Mike Hayworth, who, as you'll be able to see on this video, he's forgotten to attach his tank bag, and he's just realised it's on the back of the bike, and luckily I think he's managed to save it. So that's Mike Hayworth up in the lead there on I think it's an RT or an R1100 BMW. You got myself, I'm on the mighty 2020 GS Adventure exclusive, and behind me we've got Peter O'Reilly, another friend of mine that I actually met on a BMW client invitational ride. So we're just coming up to the start of the Great Ocean. Well, technically we're on the Great Ocean Road, but there is actually a wooden archway that was built when they first built the Great Ocean Road, I believe. And if you're not aware of it, the Great Ocean Road was actually built by Australian forces, or diggers as they're known, coming back from World War I. A lot of guys coming that made it from being over in the wars there needed some employment, and they were tasked to build the Great Ocean Road, and they did that back in the day with picks and shovels. It's one of the best driving roads in Australia, so they say. I've been down here many times, but never on the bike. So actually stand up, and you can see off there in the distance, you should be able to see the lighthouse. There's quite a few dotted around the coast. They do actually call this a little bit further along the Shipwreck Coast, so a lot of the trade that came in from overseas when they first colonised Australia came in on this coast. There was a lot of smuggling as well, but more so towards Adelaide, I believe. So it is magnificent scenery down here, and we're blessed with a fantastic day so far. We were umming and ahhing all week on the weather forecast, and I do believe that it is set to bucket down tonight. So we've already had the drenching on the way down on the freeway, and we're set for a bit more tonight. So we'll just see what happens. We're on an organised campsite, let's call it. So there are showers, and you know, there's some electricity and some dryers. If it comes to it, we can dry our gear. But we are in tents, we're doing it properly. But I guess the saving grace is that it won't be raining in the pub, because that's where we'll be. So it shouldn't be a big drama. The forecast for tomorrow morning is about the same. Showers in the morning, brightening up in the afternoon. So we're just doing an overnighter. It isn't that far from where we live. It's taken us perhaps a couple of hours to get down here on the freeway, and we'll now be driving along the Ocean Road for several hours, going through various sort of seaside places. So it is common with, sorry, should I say popular with surfers, and they do tend to just pull over when they see a nice surf beach, so you have to keep your wits about you. So we just had breakfast in a great little spot. one of my favourite cafes down here. It's called Laneway 53, and that's in Anglesea. I tend to drop in there in the morning when I'm coming down this way. We're then going to be continuing on to Lorne, is the next sort of big town, very popular with holiday makers. Continuing down from Lorne, we'll go through places, and I can't remember the order. So Wye River, nice little town with a big campsite. Kennet's River is really cool. Hopefully we'll see some koalas down there. They're quite tame, and they'll come very close to you. Skins Creek, I believe, is the next stop, and from there we would then climb into the Otway National Park. Through the Otways we'll continue on and drop down back onto the Great Ocean Road. It still is the Ocean Road, but it doesn't quite skirt around the coastline, it goes inland. Back onto the Great Ocean Road, it drops down near the 12 Apostles, so we'll take some stills of the 12 Apostles and feed those into the video. And from the 12 Apostles, just a short little ride then onto Port Campbell, where we're staying overnight. And Port Campbell is a fantastic little, it is a tiny little town. The campsite's sort of just set behind the beach. There's one main street, fish and chip shop, a pub, a servo, and that's about it. So stick around. If you've never been down the Great Ocean Road, I'm pretty sure you'll be impressed with the scenery. As I say, I've been down here lots of times, but this is the first time I've been down on the GS. I once came down on my Harley Davidson for a day trip, but again, this is the first time on the GS, and this is the first time that I've had the GS loaded up with camp gear. So I've got the moto bags are full. It's surprising how much gear you can get in there. I've got my little tank bag here, I don't know if you can see it, which is a Givi tank bag. I'm going to do a review on that. That's handy for GoPro, batteries, wallet, that sort of stuff. And then on the back I've got my Vango tent, and I've also got a duffel bag that's got like spare clothes, a few cooking items like a jet boil, some coffee for tomorrow morning, and so on. So once I get to site and I get everything pitched up, I might actually do a walk around video of the gear that I've got with me. So if you're up for a ride down the Great Ocean Road, please stick around. I'd ask you very kindly to hit the like button, so hit that thumbs up, subscribe please, and there's also a little bell, and if you hit that you'll get a notification of any new videos. So stick around and stay tuned. So guys, once again we're on the Great Ocean Road, and hopefully you can see it on the camera. We're just coming up to what they call the Pole House. So it's just over onto, obviously it's not built on the beach, it's over to my right hand side. So we'll try and tip my camera, hopefully you should be able to see that. So the entire property is linked to the land with a causeway, and it's built on a concrete what do we call it, concrete pylon or stump. It's actually been refurbished in the last few years. For many years it was almost derelict and they couldn't give it away, and anyway somebody's bought it, completely refurbished it, and it's now one of the most expensive Airbnb stays on the Great Ocean Road. Very popular. As you can imagine, up there you get an amazing view of the ocean. It's probably a little bit too expensive for my budget, but it would be nice to stay there eventually. It's quite a windy day today actually. I'm not sure if you can pick that up on the camera. So the next stop I believe is the archway to the Great Ocean Road. It's sort of the official starting point, and it's a timber construction that spans the width of the road. We're going to pull in there and take some tourist photos, maybe a shot of the bike, so I'll drop in a couple of stills. So we're coming up to the Memorial Arch, as they call it. That's the official name. So we're going to pull in here, take a few photographs. So I'll catch up with you in a minute or two. Stick around. Okay guys, that was the Golden Arch. Oh sorry, the Memorial Arch, I always get that wrong. And as I mentioned, it's normally packed with tourists, especially overseas, but that's one of the upsides of COVID, I reckon. Not if you're in the tourist industry, but for us today it means that there's a lot less traffic. That's what I'm trying to say. So we've got some epic scenery coming up and some great sweeping bends. I'm fully loaded, as I said, with camping gear and clothes, a few cooking items. So it'll be interesting to see how the mighty GS handles on some of these corners. It actually isn't too bad once you get it rolling. So Mike's up there in the lead, followed by Peter. Mike's got a sudden rush of blood to the head and off he goes. I like to go a little bit slower, to be honest. That way I can see more things without having to worry about trying to get around the road as quickly as possible. So there are some impressive gum trees here. And quite often you'll spot, and again you're not going to do it if you're going too fast, quite often you'll spot some koalas up there in the trees. So there we go. These roads are just absolutely fantastic. As I mentioned on one of my recent videos on the Black Spur, it's very similar. It always reminds me of the Black Spur, apart from you've got the ocean on the left hand side. Fantastic roads. Fortunately we don't have any tourists in front of us. What they tend to do is go that touch too slow. And the other thing is they never turn off the road to let anybody get past, even though there are some lanes and signs that actually say, you know, to move over for faster vehicles. So another reminder there to drive on the left in Australia. A couple of guys having a little bit of a race there in the rice burners, as they call them. Rice burner being Jap car, aka the Fast and Furious. So there's one of the signs that I was talking about, the slow vehicle turnout, but no one actually ever does turn out. But this is a nice pace. This is just nice. I really enjoy the bike, just swinging through some of these curves. So although we had quite a bit of rain this morning, it was actually around about 19 when I set off from home, and we're hovering around about 22 degrees here, which is just nice actually. I've just opened up some vents on the RST Adventure X jacket. Still need to get myself a pair of trousers or pants, depending on where you live. So I'm going to get the same ones. I'm just wearing my jeans today, albeit they are motorcycle jeans with protection and abrasion resistance. Hopefully we won't be giving that a try. Now then, hopefully on the video you're going to see that impressive coastline. The problem with the GoPro is it gives you fantastic clarity, but it tends to have that fisheye view which flattens everything out, so you don't get the same feel for the landscape. It's such a nice road to ride. It really is. The surface is great. I guess that's because they don't put any sort of services underneath there, you know, the water and electricity and whatnot, so they're not forever digging it up. So the tarmac is nice and smooth. Not sure if you can see them. I'll pick them up on the GoPro, but you can, hopefully you'll be able to see the houses that are built into the hillside. So the Great Ocean Road and the small towns along here are very, very popular with people from Melbourne who quite often have a holiday retreat down here because it's so close to Melbourne. Just crossing over Stony Creek. There's some fantastic different designs of houses. That's one thing I really do love about Australia. You know, people, as long as it's not a complete mess, you can pretty much build what you want. I mean, obviously there are some rules and regulations, but it makes life interesting. You know, growing up in the UK, what tends to happen is a developer will buy a block of land and then he'll put on, say, 20 houses all jammed in because there's no space, and they all look the same. You know, you might have the option for, say, a 2-bedroom versus a 3-bedroom, a 2-car garage versus a 1-car, but on the whole every house looks the same. It's just such a shame, you know, whereas here you can see that the different types and layouts of houses is just fantastic. Okay, so we're now heading into, or just coming into, Lorne, L-O-R-N-E, and Lorne is a great town. It's a bigger town. There's a lot more going on here. There's some really nice hotels. There's a fantastic big campsite. There's lots of restaurants and bars. And I'm going to keep rolling as we roll through Lorne. So you get a feel for Lorne. Very busy. If I look to my right there, you can see just how many caravans are packed into the site. Bearing in mind that we're in February and it's still the summer holidays here, so it's a little bit like in the UK or America or Europe. It tends to be, you know, June, July is your summer holidays. Well, for many in Australia, it sort of starts at Christmas when they finish work for Christmas Eve, and then holidays could go right through until certainly the end of January, and for some people February. The kids, actually similar to the UK, the kids have their 6 weeks holiday in December, January. So similar to the UK, where they would take I think it was like June or July to September. I always remember that as a kid. I always had to learn to write after 6 weeks away from school. I guess now it's learning how to punch the keyboard, I guess. So this is Lorne, as you can see, a lot busier than the last place we stayed or we stopped at. You can smell the fish and chips wafting down the street. Okay, now we've agreed on where we're stopping for lunch. We'll carry on through Lorne. As you can see, very, very busy. You know, really got to watch it down here because you've got that Aussie parking on an angle, and it's very difficult when you're in a spot like that to see what's coming until you actually commit to coming out of the spot. So you just got to watch for people backing out. So I am now the trip leader, and we got Peter behind me, and Mike is tail end Charlie. Magnificent old hotel on the right hand side there. The fretwork is incredible, always busy, and today's no different. The fretwork really is amazing. G'day, mate. So next town we're coming to is Apollo Bay. But it's quite a few k's off yet. I think the sign back there said 44 k's. Very tempting to go for it on these roads, but there are a lot of tight, slow corners, so you really have got to be careful. And again, you're going to miss a bit of scenery if you're just concentrating on getting around the corner, and that's not the idea behind this ride for me. It's actually quite a long time since I've done an overnighter because of COVID, so it's just nice to get out there, get some fresh air and see something a little bit different, you know, when you're stuck in the same sort of area for so long during lockdown and semi-lockdown, depending on what stage it is and so on. So this is just absolutely fantastic. So lots of places to pull over, lots of good surfing spots. Very busy back in Lorne, but as you can see, if you pull over somewhere like this, you pretty much get the place to yourself. So I don't think the camera will pick it up because it's to my hard left, but there's quite a few surfers out there. Well done, mate. I'm bringing back the art of nodding, and I'm nodding at everyone. I got a funny look from a Domino's pizza guy, or maybe it was Uber Eats, but I gave him a nod and he gave me a big wave back a few days ago. Shouldn't matter what sort of a bike you're on, you know, we're all bikers.